This is Marketing Jam, a podcast featuring the brightest minds in Canadian marketing.
My name's Sal. I'm the managing content producer at TIFF, which my role is basically in three parts: to oversee TIFF's promotional content, our original content, and our internal service-based content. So we run a studio that has a media arm in it. We have a podcast network that's covered by that media arm. We have an editorial site where we publish original content articles related to film culture every day. We have a social network: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. And we have a video network as well, where we're publishing what I like to think of as like behind the scenes content and DVD extra kind of content that you'll find out in the world, with the hottest filmmakers today talking about how they made the moments, the magic movie moments in their movies happen. So really cool. This is all pretty new for TIFF. We got it off the ground 3 years ago, and we've been like an internal startup that's turned into an agency over the past couple of years, and we are now publishing across the board with different types of content every day. We've grown our audience by over 150% in the past few years, and our engagement is up 1,500%. So we've had a tremendous increase in engagement as well, and that's something that this studio is really focused on, which is ultimately extending TIFF's brand into the digital space.
That's amazing. And those that don't know what TIFF stands for, what does it stand for?
It's the Toronto International Film Festival. Thank you for asking.
No, it's okay. Yeah. And what is that? What does that look like?
So it's a good question. What TIFF looks like maybe 7 years ago was the big event in September, and then a smattering of small events that most people had not really heard of year-round. 7 years ago, we opened the TIFF Bell Lightbox in downtown Toronto, which is a movie theater, and we became a year-round institution the day that opened. Through that institution, we have exhibitions. We have 5 movie theaters where we have new releases playing every day. We also have historical Cinematheque programming of amazing films from the past. We try to celebrate not just auteur filmmakers from America or Europe, but all over the world. We are an international institution. And then outside of that, we also run 3 other festivals, smaller than our September festival, but focused on niches. So we have TIFF Kids, which happens starting in a week from now in March, over March break every year. We have TIFF Next Wave, which is a free festival for 14 to 25-year-olds. It's focused on youth and activism in youth circles, and that happens in February over their spring break kind of reading week timeframe. And we have Canada's Top 10 Film Festival, which is a celebration of Canadian film, and that takes place in January, and then tours around the country for the rest of the year.
So if I make a short film, it's a minute and a half, 2 minutes long, maybe 3 minutes. It's kind of like The Log Rider. Remember The Log Rider from the Canadian Heritage Films? So I make a film like that. How would you describe, from your expertise perspective, whether and why I should post it on YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook video, or LinkedIn video and Twitter video? Where should I be putting my little short film?
I mean, that's a good question. Put it everywhere if you're a short film creator, because you're new to the industry and you just want to get it out there. You want to get the maximum amount of eyeballs on it. But each platform allows you to reach a different type of person. Vimeo is where creators are.
It does video creators.
Video creators. You're not optimized for search necessarily, but you're on a platform that creators respect, that they use as calling cards with each other, and so it's a great place to house your portfolio. YouTube is where people could just stumble on your stuff and you could blow up overnight. But there is also, when you're a new channel,
Coney.
Exactly. But when you're a new platform, on most places that aren't Vimeo, it's not just about posting one video, it's about having a channel strategy, which is the challenging thing. So it's about giving people something to look forward to at a regular cadence. So is it daily, weekly, monthly?
Why they should subscribe.
Why they should subscribe, because your model on all these other platforms is based on subscription, and that's how you get reach. So,
and why Facebook video or LinkedIn video? What about those? Who are those audiences?
I mean, LinkedIn is going to be your professional audience, and if you're a filmmaker There's a lot of tradespeople that you can reach through that medium, which is great for, again, in a calling card kind of way, like Vimeo. Facebook is great to just get your own community rallying behind you. That's where you get your friends and fans and you know, their friends to share and get it out there, create a bit of a grassroots movement. And Twitter is sort of in the moment coverage. So depending on what your film is about, if it's topical, it's related to a hashtag of the day or a news trending item, it's a great opportunity to tack it onto that and get it out there in that way.
That's cool.
Yeah. And something that we've been piloting at TIFF is looking at one medium you didn't mention, which is Instagram, which has traditionally been more of a photo sharing service. We started an Instagram film festival in partnership with Instagram 2 years ago. And the whole idea was looking at new creators, primarily young creators, giving them a bridge from the digital world into a sort of cinematic universe like with TIFF. Zero barriers to entry. All you have to do is really have a phone. If you have a camera, then use your camera, but make a 60-second film. Load it onto Instagram.
iMovie, maybe? Using iMovie?
Using iMovie, whatever.
YouTube capture?
It could be a single shot as well. Like we have people who've literally just shot it on their phones and submitted. Hashtag it TIFFX Instagram. And then you're submitted. We've gotten thousands of applications from all over the world, and 2 years in a row we've found, we've had a Judge's Choice winner. We've put together jury members who are like acclaimed filmmakers, Xavier Dolan, Ava DuVernay, you know, great acclaimed filmmakers who have just looked at new people's work that they're creating in the digital space, and we're using Instagram, which is one of the most creative communities out there, to surface that work.
It's amazing. And what about live video? What does that mean for TIFF and some of the creators out there?
Live video has been a huge part of our strategy over the past few years. What we've realized is that, you know, TIFF as a nexus for international film during specifically the September timeframe, a lot of people are interested in what's happening, but they can't be there. And so what we're trying to do in the digital space is invite people in as much as possible. That's what it means to be the People's Film Festival, rather than being a sort of an exclusive or elitist type festival that might exist somewhere else in the world. But for us, it's really about bringing people in as many ways as possible. So we use live video in a few different ways. We broadcast our entire industry conference so that if you're a creator who can't afford to get an industry badge, you can still watch all the news. You can still hear from the top creators in the world about the craft of how they do things, and you could follow that along through our YouTube live streams. We do our press conferences with all the big stars on Facebook. That's where we're reaching a broad audience. We have a red carpet live show that's hosted in partnership with us and Vanity Fair, and every star that comes to every red carpet is interviewed, and that content is just delivered right out to people on Facebook. We also like to go behind the scenes, and so that's where we use Instagram Live to give people more of that mobile, like in the moment coverage, backstage as people are just getting ready to go premiere their movie for the first time, all the butterflies in the stomach, they're walking out. So, you know, through our various channels, we're trying to hit people with different aspects of the experience.
It's awesome. Now, while you're here at DX3, you're meeting a lot of folks, seeing a lot of things happening. We're coming out here from Vancouver. Do you think that the Vancouver International Film Festival will ever get to the size or the fame of TIFF?
You know what? I think if they want to, they certainly can. I think there's space in this world. What's happening right now in the film world is that, you know, we're in a post-Netflix world, and that means that in order for people to come out to see a movie, it needs to be an event, right? And what film festivals are is events. It's like, you know, at TIFF we have 400 films. That's 400 premieres of different kinds and scales. That's 400 events. And it's a way for, you know, even Netflix, they bring their movies to us at the festival still, and they premiere them, and then they show up on Netflix a few months later sometimes. So, I mean, a lot of people are still looking to cut through the noise, create an event, create a Twitter trending moment or whatever around their film. And so I think there's space. There's lots of space for all the film festivals here. The question is, do you want to be the big red carpet, glitzy and glam kind of fest, or do you want to be something else? Do you want to be focused on a more of a niche in the filmmaker community? And I think there's space for all kinds and ranges of festivals. So it's a really exciting time.
That's really cool. So best book that you can recommend that you've read lately?
Ooh, best book. That's a good question. I spend most of my time.
You could go blog or magazine. Those work as well?
I mean, okay, best magazine that I could recommend to people is Fast Company. I think that if you are in the arts, or if you're in tech, or business, there's something for you in all three of those lanes. For me, I'm at my work is at the intersection of all three of these, and that's why I find Fast Company is fantastic. Like they give you that coverage at the intersection.
That's awesome. Your 5 favorite apps in your life right now?
My 5 favorite apps.
Yeah, maybe it's ones that you can't live without, or ones that you just love right now.
Right. So Instagram is definitely an app that I use all the time. I'm a very visual person, and so just like being up to date with my friends. Through the pictures that tell their story is awesome for me. Twitter is where I am for news, and I use it as a news platform. I think they're doing an amazing job of curating news, so it's not just what's in your feed, it's what's curated by the Twitter Moments team. They really get what I'm interested in, and they serve that to me through that platform really well. And then in terms of just a convenience, there's 2 apps that I use on a regular basis that make my life simpler, save me time. One of them is Ritual. I can order meals through there, and I know exactly when it's going to be ready, so I don't have to wait in a line. And I just show up and I pick it up. Another one is Diner. I'm often making spur-of-the-minute plans to have meals with friends, and instead of just going to a restaurant that you know is going to be mediocre, you're like, oh, we want to eat at a great spot. In the past, you'd have to try and call around and make a bunch of calls to get in somewhere. Now you just have Diner, which tells you last-minute reservations that have popped up based on cancellations at
awesome.
the hottest restaurants in the city.
Is it using OpenTable?
It's using OpenTable as a backend.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's fantastic. Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. Well, any things that you want to leave? Any kind of words of knowledge, words of inspiration to our listeners here on the Marketing Jam show?
Yeah. So in terms of advice, I guess, that I would leave for people, one of them would be always follow the growth. That's some advice that was given to me early on in my career when I came out of school right as the market was sort of collapsing in 2008, and I was working in banking, so I was kind of at the center of that. And I got some advice at that time from a mentor of mine who said, follow the growth. Where do you see growth happening in this company while the economy is collapsing? And I was like, I guess risk management. Everybody needs to figure out how to manage risk right now. And he was like, go there. And I went there, and that ended up being a huge move for me in my career. And I've taken that advice ever since. When I came to TIFF, my initial job was working in our executive office, and when I found out that the big move and the big growth for TIFF was going to be launching a digital team, I was like, I want to go there, and I want to learn everything I can about digital and content and media strategy, and I picked up those skills and I moved into that team. So it's always served me really well. So that's the advice I would give people.
Awesome. Thanks for being on the Marketing Jam show.
Yeah,
really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, my pleasure.